When I was in high school, I was bullied a little bit.
I was a
I wanted to
scribe,
prove to other
unfortunately.
people that
I wrote down, they gave me the schedule, and I wrote down multiple copies for the drill instructors to wear in their hats.
It's a long story. We left in World War II when the Russians were coming in.
When I went in,
We were
I really liked
escaping
it.
to
It was, being raised
both
with
of my
three
friends
boys.
were executed.
This is my life and my story. My name is Gene Batchelor. I was born in Blatteville, Wisconsin in 1943.
I think it's about people having a voice.
And you haven't heard about when you're getting out yet or anything like that?
We basically have people who are trained going into veterans' rooms and communicating with veterans, and basically, I think, asking them to tell their story.
The story is really a way to connect providers with veterans, with patients, and have them connect over something that's real and meaningful.
Thinking back on your time in the service, what do you think you got out of it? What did you learn from it, or what did you take away from it?
I learned to follow orders, you know.
And we say, you know, what would you like your provider to know about you? That's really the prompting question. What would you want to share with your healthcare provider? What do you want them to know about you as a person? And from that, we get a tremendous variety of stories.
Yeah, being a supply clerk is like a white-collar job.
So after the interview, which is usually typically an hour, we write up the story.
Well, I used to take those timbers and pick them up and carry them on my shoulder like a toothpick. I used to be a strong son of a gun.
But not anymore. I look forward to it now because part of the process is to come back, is to return after you've written the story and go through it with the vet to make sure that it's sounds good to them, it includes things they want to include. And I can tell you every single time I've come back, the response that I get from the vets, it's generally very emotional, it's very grateful, it's very appreciative. A lot of the vets tell me that they've never told people these things before, they've never had the opportunity. I get a lot of vets who want to give me a hug, who are very tearful afterwards, and it gets me tearful just thinking about it. And that's what brings me back, because I get to see firsthand how meaningful this process is to them.
And did you ever get married?
Ruth. Yeah, to an old schoolmate of mine. She was in the tavern one night, so I asked her for a dance. One thing led to another, and so we started going out together. We were together 24 years. She was a good woman. She had necrotizing fasciitis. That's a flesh-eating disease. Very bad. She was over at the UW hospital in an induced coma for 3 months because they had taken 30 pounds out of her stomach. She lived 8 years after that. Your companion, your compadre, you know, you lose that, and yeah, it's no fun. But life goes on. I still miss her, you know. But I got my cat. I got a little male cat at home, Bandit. He's a good boy. We get along pretty good. He sleeps a lot,
so do I. So we're a good team. He's probably wondering where I'm at. The cat was my favorite part.
They've really made it accessible to us, which is important for nurses because you're just running around all day.
It's important and part of the healing process for a lot of these vets that they can share their life experiences, and whether it rehashes something that's difficult or rehashes like really great part of their life, it kind of just brings a new piece to their care.
But I'm a little eccentric. What the hell? As long as I know it, I'm a collector.
I have a 150 caliber black powder cannon. I think it's really helpful because it humanizes the veteran for us. You know, so often I think we get overwhelmed with the clinical picture, looking at lab tests, looking at x-rays, dealing with acute issues, and even though we try to get a feeling for that person and get to know them, it's very difficult, I think, in our time-compressed world.
So how are you doing today?
My story really can help fill in that gap.
So we ended up in Germany.
I know occasionally I've had a few of the nurses of that if they find one that they really find interesting, they'd like to pass it on, say, you really should look at this one.
And 58,000 people, guys, died there. Now scroll down.
I got out of the Army in 1964 with an honorable discharge. I was in for 3 years. I had a lot of jobs after I got discharged. To me, the value in it is what the vets get out of it, is what I give to the vets. And in my way, that's sort of my thanks for their service. Life-changing sounds kind of cliche, but it is. When you get to be a part of somebody's human experience and write this narrative and see the effect it has on them, it brings you back.
And I never have to explain the program. I mean, I can just go into the room and say, you know, we're going to ask you about your story, and people know what I'm talking about. And then when you read a story, people get it. The whole program makes sense to them, just when they hear one story. Sometimes time is meaningless to me. Dates and times don't mean anything. Live in the present, and that's it. Don't live in the past. Try to look forward to the future. Right now, I'm thinking I'd like a cigarette. So what do you think?
I like it.
Okay.
You put it down just the way I wanted it.
Okay, good.
When I was in high school, I was bullied a little bit.
I was a
wanted to
scribe.
prove to
I
other
just
people
loved
that
I wrote down, they gave me the schedule, and I wrote down multiple copies for the drill instructors to wear in their hats.
It's a long story. We left in World War II when the Russians were coming in, and we were
being raised
escaping
with 3 boys.
Germany. My friends were executed.